Okay, I wanted to talk about today's assignment and the purpose of today's assignment. So your child was sent home with a worksheet called Creating Tens. We spent a lot of time going over this today, and based off of what I observed with students, I could tell that it was something that they needed to be practicing. So I want to talk about why I'm doing it. Adding fluently and subtracting fluently is a standard that it's a fourth grade standard. And so part of adding and subtracting fluently is being efficient. And this is a word that I have used with students. And so they know that it's using your time wisely, and being able to be quick in certain areas and know strategies that are going to be helpful and move you along at a faster rate. So the way I described it for students is I was like, let's say we want to add the ones here. We want to add a 6 and a 9. It's not efficient to be using our fingers. So we're coming up with some other efficient ways. One of the efficient ways is to mentally be able to make tens, because it's a lot easier to add to a 10. So if you can imagine that right now what I have is I'm adding the ones. We got a 6 plus 9. I set that up here for 6 plus 9. That is actually problem number 1 on their worksheet. Okay. I was showing students how to make sense of this by using place value drawings, and then some students even needed me to be even more explicit, and so I set up tens frames like this. And so your child can definitely do that as well if it's something, if it's a visual that is making more sense. So they could make a tens frame just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The reason why we use tens frames is because our brain likes to see patterns, and also this has been something that they've been using since kindergarten, so they have a lot of practice with this. And so the first thing that they would do is set up 6 plus 9. They're going to follow the order that the worksheet gave them. So here we have 6 plus 9 equals, meaning 6 plus 9 is the same as, so they kept the 6 on this worksheet. That means we need to break apart the 9. So what I do is I ask my students, okay, if we're keeping the 6, what do I need to take from over here so that this tens frame is filled up? And they'll tell me 4. So I'm going to take these 4 and bring them over here, but I'm also going to mark right here that I'm taking 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just like right here, I can take 4, and that's filled up. So now what I have is this 6 and 4 made the 10, and I have my tens frame of 10, and even my drawing frame right here, the one I drew of 10. And then after I took those 4, what was left? Another 5. Okay. So I've told students that that number we're breaking apart, like for example 9, we could break that apart in a lot of different ways. 6 and 3, 7 and 2, 8 and 1, but it's going to depend on what that other number needs in order to reach a 10. So 6 plus 4 is our 10. We have 10 there now as well. And then what else do we still need to add? We need to add those 5, just like right here. We have our 10, and we want to add 5. And 10 plus 5 is 15. So I'm having kids practice this. That way they can eventually start to practice applying it to fluently adding here. So I would want kids to, obviously when they're doing it this way, they could either make the 6 into a 10, create that mentally into a 10, or the 9. But if I was to go off of the example that we just did, I would in my head say, okay, I'm going to borrow, or take like 4 from here, because then that would make that a 10. And so that would be 10, and then the 5 that I would have left, 15. Okay. So it's just really getting them to practice being efficient with manipulating numbers. That is the goal of a worksheet like today. So hopefully that made sense. Like I said, I didn't make a video, but I did just want to explain to you the purpose of today's worksheet.